Good afternoon. I didn't get out for my walk. I kind of slept in, for me anyways. I was in bed until just before 10. I actually think I slept probably 8 hours straight, which isn't something I do often. Was really nice to have that long sleep and uninterrupted sleep. It felt really restorative, and I'm really appreciative for that. I have a devotional I want to read, and I hope that you'll enjoy it. So it's called Take Off the Lens Cap. This may have happened to you at one time or another. You're using your favorite camera, happily looking through the viewfinder to take a photo, and then you hear someone shout, "Take off the lens cap." You assume you were focusing in on the subject, but something was blocking the camera's true eye all along. Sometimes we can assume we're focusing on what matters, but we are really taking pictures with the lens cap on. How? By focusing too much on the behavior and opinions of others while ignoring a significant blind spot, or lens cap, the ownership we should take for our own behavior. We impose unnecessary judgments on others. We blame everyone else for our problems. We don't see the log in our own eye. Sometimes we first need to focus on what we're blind to before we can focus on what matters. The verse is Matthew 7:5. You hypocrite, first take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Just a really good devotional about ourself. And I've talked to you many times in my videos that I feel that I do have a spirit of, a critical spirit, and I can be judgmental, and I can see things in other people. And I really have prayed about this a lot, that I would not have that spirit, praying that spirit off of me, because I don't want to be doing that. I want to work on myself. I want to work on my blind spots and see where I need to do better. And that's doing better with family, with friends, with strangers, at work, at home, wherever it is. I don't want to be pointing fingers and being hurtful and thinking that I know it all, because I don't. I think when we can stop and pull away and not be judgmental and not point things out to others, and maybe there is some truth to that. I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube, but there's a therapist that says, if you spot it, you got it. And it's just kind of like a reminder when you see somebody doing something that you don't like. I think often we will look at the negative things that somebody does and think, wow, why is that person doing it? But it's really a good reminder to stop and really do inventory and think, am I doing that? Is that something that I see because I don't like it, because I do it? And then really pay attention to how you interact with people, with family, with friends, with strangers, at work, in different environments, and towards different people. Because I do feel like we do act differently around different people depending on the relationship that we have with them, if we know them well, if we don't know them well. You have a friend that you can let your hair down and laugh and goof off and do things that you might not do when you're at work with a coworker, or when you're with customers, or when you're with your child, or when you're with your spouse. Like, you are unique and you have different personalities, and I think that's okay. But you really do want to be your true self. For the most part, you want to be showing who you are all the time. So if you have integrity, you want to have integrity with everybody. If you you're honest and you're true and you're trustworthy, then you want to show that in all areas of your life. When you're at work, when you're with friends, when you go to a restaurant, if you have a moral compass, and you think about where you would go, what you would do, and who would see you and who wouldn't see you. I will say this, that God sees everybody and sees everything we do. When we're alone, when we're with people, nothing's hidden from him. And so you're not really hiding anything from him, whether you believe in God or not. He still sees his creations, and he knows all and sees all. But anyways, this is just a really good devotional to kind of give that reminder to you and to me, to really think about, how am I coming off towards people? Do people avoid me, or do people say things back to me and I think, why are they saying that? Or are they saying really good things about you? Like, wow, you're really positive. Or, I appreciate that every time you come in, you're on time. What things are being said to you or not said to you? And really to stop and pull back and do your inventory and think about how you come off to people, to all people, to friends, family, strangers, your coworkers, everybody that you interact with. How are you acting, and what are the reasons? Do you have triggers with certain people? Are you tired when you're at home? Do you feel lonely? I mean, really just do the inventory, write the stuff down, journal about it, talk to God about it. If you're a believer, that's really the first place to go, is pray about it and talk to God. And then, find out, ask a really close friend, what do you think about this? Have you seen me do this? Have you seen me do that? And, you can ask them to pray about it. I remember back years ago, where I was just swearing so much. I mean, it was probably a 10-year span of this, I would just swear about everything. And I knew it was because I had an injustice in my spirit. And so I was angry, and that's how it would come out. I'm not going to say that I don't swear at all anymore, but it's not something that I want to practice or do practice. It's not enjoyable for me, and I just don't really care to speak that way. But I didn't even know at one point that I was swearing. And I will give an example. I would go over to a friend's house. This was many years ago. And, really good friend, really loved her. She had, children, raising children. And I couldn't figure it out. She would always send her kids away to go clean their rooms when I would come over. And I wouldn't come over that often, but it just seemed like, wow, they're cleaning their rooms again. She didn't want to hurt my feelings. She didn't want to say that she didn't want her kids to hear how I spoke. And I guess I found out by accident. I don't know. Like, she finally said something to me in private, and it was kind of like a shock because I didn't realize it. I didn't know that every other word out of my mouth was, a swear word. And I didn't know it. I didn't hear it. And so you have to understand that when people are going through stuff, they don't always know it. They don't know that they're grumbling. They don't know that they're negative. I also had another thing happen, and this was years ago. When I worked at the store I'm working at now, I had a really good friend, and this friend would work in areas that I worked. And she told me that another lady didn't really care for me. And she said because she would complain and she would, want more hours. And, she just was like, I don't want to hear that. And it just was an eye opener for me. Like, my friend wasn't rude to me. She just said that to me. And then I really thought about it. How am I coming off towards people? Do I want to be a grumbler and a complainer and have people not want to hang out with me or not like me? The answer was, yeah, no, I really don't want that. And so because somebody enlightened me and said something to me about this person, and then this other person finally kind of admitted, hey, it's no big deal, but some of the things you say made me look at myself and go, wow, I didn't know I was doing that. And so be aware that people that are doing things, it's because they're going through stuff. It's because they have a soul wound. It's because they are struggling, and they don't always know. And it's not always easy to tell somebody, hey, you're doing this. But you can maybe just pray about it first. And if you really feel a conviction to talk to them, you can say something to them, and, in love. And I know it's hard. I do not like confrontation. I really prefer to talk to God about everything and journal and just kind of show the things that I do, how I live. I choose to unconditionally love like Jesus does. I choose to forgive. And I have 2 videos that I just did. One was about forgiveness and one was about forgiveness and unforgiveness. And I don't have any views on it. And I wondered, well, maybe people didn't want to click them on because those are subjects that are like, they're hard to, you don't want to face those things. But we all struggle with forgiving others, forgiving ourselves. And we struggle with unforgiveness in our life, and we have to check ourselves. We have to be willing to do the work and choose to forgive unforgivable things. A lot of times, every situation is so personal and unique, and there isn't comparison. Everything is different for everyone. And when you have something happen to you, it is very traumatic, and it does hurt, and it is hard to get over. But you have to choose to partner with Jesus to have the forgiveness in your life, to choose to forgive and choose to not have bitterness. I had to choose a long time ago I don't want to be a bitter woman. I don't want to be old and angry and grumpy and critical and all of those things. But I have to daily remind myself and really pray about those things, or I'm going to end up being that way. And I'm not perfect. I mess up plenty. But I just wanted to share a little bit about that. And I hope you will go back and look at the other videos that I did yesterday. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm getting ready to work. This is my Friday. And then I will be off on the weekend, hoping to do some more, little bit of Christmas shopping and grocery shopping and whatnot. And maybe really get out to walk. I wish I had today. It looks like it was about 17 above, which is really amazing. But anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day and be blessed. Okay, bye.